Hello friends, here the first class of the computer network. Here we see the OSI model and the TCP/IP model. In OSI model, there is a 7-layer application layer, presentation, session, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. So these are the OSI models, means the standards and ways to communicate between two host-to-host computers. So this is a architecture or model which is used while there is a network communication between host-to-host or host-to-server, the client-server model or peer-to-peer model. Okay. When there is a two host A and host B, host 1 and host B are trying to communicate in the network process, they will follow the standard models. So one of the standard model is OSI model, and second one is TCP/IP. There are many more models. These are the very famous model, OSI models and TCP model. In OSI model, there is a 7 layers. Actually, OSI model is a theoretical model, not a fully practical model. TCP/IP model is a practical model, practically implemented model. OSI model is a theoretical model. So in SI, there is a 7-layer application, presentation, session, transport, network, and data link and physical layer. So the upper layer is the application layer is called higher layer, and physical layer is the lower layer. Okay. Application layer is 7th layer, and the physical layer is layer 1. So here we counted layer 1 to layer 7, from bottom to up, layer 1 to layer 7. So must remember physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Okay. So when we are trying to implement OSI model, so the data link layer and physical layer, these two layers are implemented by using the hardware, and these four application, presentation, session, and transport and network, these fives are implemented by software part. Okay. And these 4 layers, application, presentation, session, and transport layer, are also called host layers, and these 3, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer, also called media layer. We will discuss each layer in detail further. So first we go to the TCP/IP model. In TCP/IP model, there is a 5 layers, application layer and transport layer. Here in TCP/IP model, application layer, presentation layer, session layer are combined with single one application layer, and then transport layer, the network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. 4, 5, 6, 7. Here application layer is combined with 3 layers, combination of 3 layers, presentation layer, session layers. So the transport layer, also known as TCP/UDP layer, and network layer is also called IP layer. Okay. Here OSI and TCP/IP models, there's layers, and we will discuss layers further. So the friends, this is not a full class, it's the brief introduction class. Introduction class means all the topics we will cover in the full playlist. So there is a complete full playlist for each layer, and the function, features, everything we will cover in details. Okay. So this is your first class. This is a brief intro class with what we learn in upcoming videos. So the overview of application layer. So in application layer, first we introduce the term network application program. program or network communication program. So in our system there are programs, a process, programs, we see the programs or process. So in the system there is a process having network communication and normal process. If there is a process communicating with network is called network process. If the process is not communicating with any networks, then we don't call it only process and network process. Have you learned the difference between process and network process? In network process, the process involving network or internet connectivity or further means communication with other program. The process which we use network communication program are called network application program. So what do you mean by programs? First we have difference here, program and process में क्या difference होता है? What is the difference between program and process? When the code in secondary memory, when our program is in secondary memory or hard drive, is called program, which is a set of instruction, which is a code, which having code, we have set of instruction called secondary memory called program. When its program comes in RAM for execution is called process. And out of these process, the process which are in network communication means communication with the other programs, communication with other external programs called network process. And the process which not involve communication with other programs is a normal process. It's a normal process. So what is the process? The process is a program in execution. When there is a program comes for execution in RAM is called process. The process have process ID. Each process have process ID, which is managed by operating system. So the process ID is for all process. But if the process is a network communication process, if any process is a network communication process, then OS assign it port number. Port number is also assigned. So if the process having port number, then it must be a network process. It must be a network process. So for network process, there is a port number assigned. Assign the port number. But in normal process, there is only process ID. So there is port number. What is port number? Port number is a 16-bit identifier. Port number is 16-bit identifier होता है. It is identify the network process in machine. It is used to identify the network process in the machine. And the port number managed by OS. The port number are divided into three range. Port number 3 range होता है. First the system ports from port number 0 to 10 to the 23 per, and the register port 10 to the 1024 to 49151, and dynamic port means private port बोलते हैं इनको 49,000 to 65,000. These are the range of the port number which we use in a communication process. So 0 to 1025 are the server process. These types of port are used by the servers, and these are register ports used by registered ports, and these are dynamic ports. We will discuss ports number further in detail. This is a brief class. I already told that this is a brief intro class, not a full class. Okay, two network process belong to is the same host or different host. Two network process belong to same host or different host. Means there is two process doing network communication. Inter-process communication by OS means if one process and second process in same host in same machine, there's a one process and two process are communicating with each other. Same host, but different host means there is a second computer having the process. This is the process of second computer communicating with the process of other computer, called different host communication over the network. Now comes with application layer. So there is the protocols, some protocols used in application layer. So the first is DNS, domain name server. As you know, in domain name server, as means there is a domain name for specific process or a specific specific website which is on the server. Domain name will provide the address of that process. And second is HTTP with hypertext transfer protocol, FTP. For FTP, the file transfer protocol used for transferring the files. SMTP, simple mail transfer call. This protocol is while sending the mail. So these are the application layer protocols. We will discuss these protocols in detail in application layer protocols. I already told that this is a brief intro class. What we will learn, what is how the flow chart of the computer network. This is a small brief introduction class. Okay, so don't worry things. We are not teaching you the topics in details. I will teach you all these topics in detail in further upcoming videos. This is only brief intro class to know what we learned in this playlist, these upcoming videos. Okay, so in application layer there is a protocol data unit, means basic unit of exchange. Means if there is a two application layers and having communication process with, there is a process or process 2 are communicating with each other. They exchange their data. Between layer 1 and layer n protocol of one machine and layer n same protocols of either machine and machine. If there is a this machine and this machine want to send up from one machine to one machine, from layer 1 layer n to layer n, means application layer process, application layer protocols from this layer, application layer process to this host. These are communicating between them, communicating with each other by using the protocols, by using the protocols and exchanging their data. This basic unit of data is called PDU. Here in application layer, PDU is known as message. Okay, must remember that. It will be very useful in further class. So application layer PDU is message. Must remember, application layer PDU is message. This application layer, the application layer send means packet. You can say the packet or data which application layer send to the next layer is called message. Okay, means that application layer send the data to the next layer. Which one is presentation, session and transport layer. Application layer send data to transport layer. This data or packets we called message. First remember, if there is two process communication, two network process belong to a different host, then communication over the network by exchanging the message. Communication over the network by exchanging message. By exchanging message means is packet communication. How the communication perform between two layers, application layer and their transport layer. This application layer communicate with packets, data packets, and this data packet is called message. Okay. So there are two paradigms होते हैं, तो client to server. There is a client and there is a server machine. So the client communicate with the server, the server communicate with the client, and another one is peer-to-peer. Means there is a two host, two users, end user into end users. They are communicating with each other. so called peer-to-peer, and when client communicates with server, the client-server model. We are the web browsing. We are loading the website. This is a web browsing. Email, the email server and user. Email server or user communicating with servers with user. But in BitTorrent and voice over internet protocol, there's a user-to-user connection. So the communication credential, how we communicate communication with host to host, unique host to host. So these are the communication credential we used while communicating. So we have a port number. We are communicating with other user. There is a host 1 or host 2, means user 1, user 2 are communicating with are communicating with each other. So there is it is a network process. Okay, network process involved. So it must be a port number. So there is a port number for host 1 and host 2. Source IP address, its IP address, destination address to which the packet to be sent, destination address, and the port number, destination port number also. Means if we send the packet to the host 2, but there is a multiple ports, but how to identify in which port we are doing communication? Each process have its port number. To which port number we are communicating right now, identify the destination port number. Okay, so let's see the example. If let is a 3 is a port number, and destination IP address is x. Then there is a 4 is a, so packet A is communicating with process A is communicating with process B, which is a inter-network communication. So here the process A having port number 3 and its source, its IP address X. So, and you want to communicate with the process B having port number 4 and IP address X. So when the net communication sent to the higher layer, means transport layer, it will check the credential. There is a port 3. So when the packet is sent to the host B, then it will get the data and process the data. It will send again the response to the source, so it can identify the A process with the help of its IP address and its port number. Now presentation layer, the function of presentation layer is code conversion of code. Conversion of the code means that if we have used some symbols, many character words, these are converted into ASCII value, ABDCIT, Unicode, different conversion format. So the ASCII is the most popular and we are using nowadays. These are already implemented in our systems. So different conversion methods are available, and ASCII is the most popular. We can say that. So the code conversion, then encryption and decryption. If you want to protect the message, you know that message means the data which we transfer to higher layer. If you want to protect encryption, then we apply encryption here, and description, the same is description here, as we receive the data from lower layer to higher layer. If we receive the data packet from process B to A, which is already encrypted, so that message or data we can decrypt in presentation layer. Then the compression or decompression. If you want to compress the data, then it will happen in presentation layer. Okay, now the session layer. Session layer is for session establishment, dialog management, authentication or authorization. Here we see the functions of the presentation layer and session layers. Not go with the details in these functions of these layers. We will discuss full presentation layer in further videos, session layer in further videos. This I will already told that this is an intro class, not full class. So here I am only teaching you what is the flow of our teaching. So, and what we taught in this full playlist. Okay. So the next one, transport layer. We will discuss it in next layer. So in next class. Okay.